Shakyam Pranavami Jagatam Gurum Yah Paramatma Jagat Srishtva Pravivesha Punasvayam Tam Krishnam Pratyagatmanam Vande Gopi Manoharam Yasya prasadadahamadvayatma Vishwam samhastam mayi kalpitancha Tan sarvalokaika gurum sadashri Swayam prakasham gurumanatosmi Gurunam charanam bhojam Pranipatya nirantaram Tatkripa leshato dvaita Chinta kaustubhamarabhe Om. The Lakshanam of Brahman is bifurcated as the Tatastha Lakshanam and Swarupa Lakshanam. Having said that, now it is told to us that the word Tat, okay, this is about the Lakshanam. Now, the word Tat indicates Brahman, has got the capacity to show what Brahman is. Just as any word has a capacity to show the object that it illumines. For example, when you say rose, the word rose has the capacity to illumine not jasmine, not lotus, not hibiscus, but this particular flower, the lotus. Similarly, the word Tat in our sentence now, Tattvamasi, though it is a pronoun, but now that pronoun carries the capacity to show what Brahman is. How does that happen? And so it is said, now this word shows Brahman in two ways. One is called as the Vachyartha, and the other one is called as the Lakshartha. There is a very interesting thing, just understand it as of now. Vachyartha is also called as Shakyartha. Now, between the word and the object, and now we are talking about word and the object. So the object is meant by the word. Lotus is the word. Okay, lotus is the word, and the object is that particular flower. Now, what makes this word capable of showing this object and no other object? When you say lotus, it does not take you to hibiscus, it does not take you to jasmine or rose anywhere else. It takes you to just that object. So naturally, it means that this word has a certain capacity. This capacity, which is there in the word, to deliver your understanding to that particular object. So between the object and this word, there is something which is called, this capacity is called as Shakti. It's called as Shakti. So this Shakti, so the Pada becomes the Shakta, the one who carries the Shakti, where that capacity is Shakta. and where it takes you is called as Shakya. Okay, is called as Shakya. So now you have got three different words. What are those? Shakta, Shakti, and Shakya. Okay. What is Shakta? The word. What is Shakya? The object. What is the Shakti? The capacity of this word to take you to the object. This is the Shakti. Between the word and the object is the Shakti. Okay, so though the Shakti is something that resides in the word, but it takes you to that object alone. It doesn't take you anywhere else. And that's why now it is called as Shakyartha. This is Shakyartha. So what is the Shakyartha? Shakyartha is the object meant by the word. Clean. Huh? Shakyartha means the object meant by the word. So it is said, what is Shakyartha? Shaktya gamyamano arthaha. It is Shaktya, by the Shakti, gamyamanaha, where it can be that what is illumined, that which is understood through the Shakti. Okay, through the Shakti. And that's why Shaktya gamyamano arthaha. This artha is also called as Vachartha, the spoken meaning. Then Lakshanaya gamyamano laksharthaha. What is Lakshana? See, now the Lakshana is different from Lakshanam. This is Lakshana, Akaranta, Strilinga, Lakshana. So Shaktya gamyamano Shakya Vacharthaha, and Lakshanaya gamyamanaha is called as Laksharthaha. What is that Lakshana? We will come to it. But for now, we can keep it this way. What are those two? I mean, those two in the sense because the word Tat shows you Brahman in two ways. What are those two ways? By Vachartha and Lakshartha. Word. But this word having the capacity to show the object takes you to the object. Takes you in the sense, leads your understanding to that object. So here what are we going to say? This is Vachartha. Now when the word directly does not have the capacity to show the object, but it shows the object indirectly. It shows the object indirectly. Then there is another mechanism which comes to function. It is not through Shakti. It is because it is not directly showing. So there is another mechanism which comes to function over here, and that is called as Lakshana. So the word Tat shows you Brahman in these two ways. Vachartha, because it takes you through the Shakti. So Vachartha and Lakshartha. So here the question is, Kauto Vachya Lakshau iti. What are those Vachya and Lakshas? So now it is said, Maya ityadi. People have got this. Are you on the page number 30 with me?
Yes, Swamiji.
Swamiji.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Such a dvividhaha. Vachartha laksharthascha. What is the Vachartha? Mayopahitam chaitanyam tatpadasya Vacharthaha. What is it? Mayopahitam chaitanyam. Consciousness conditioned by Maya is the Vachartha. When it is said Tat, Ishvaraha, what what comes to your mind immediately? What is understood by you immediately is consciousness conditioned by Maya, Mayopahitam Chaitanyam. Then what is the Lakshartha? It means Maya Vinirmuktam Chaitanyam Tatpadasya Lakshartha. Consciousness free from the conditioning of Maya is called as the Lakshartha. Now we will go. We have reached up to this point. But what he says now you have already said Mayopahitam Chaitanyam means Ishvaraha. And what is this Ishvaraha? Jagat Karanam. How is he the Jagat Karanam? Jagat Kartrutve, Jagat Upadanatve Sati Jagat Kartrutvam. This is what we have seen. So now he has a question. Even the Purva Pakshi has a question. And he says, sir, this meaning which you are saying is associated with the word tat, which is directly associated with the word tat, is not possible. Why? Because upadanatva is also not possible. Kartrutvam is also not possible in Brahman. And therefore, to say that the word tat means Brahman, which is Jagat Karanam and which is the Vachartha, is also not possible. And we have seen why did he reject in the first place the Jagat. He has raised his objections, and which we have seen in our earlier classes. Over there, just to recapitulate it, he said that there are these three ways in which something can be called as the Upadana Karanam, meaning the material cause. When can it be said? Can somebody remember? The three conditions under which something can be called as the Upadanam.
Yes, Swamiji. Either it should be Arambhakatvam or Parinama. And Vivarta.
Very good. So now he says that something can be called as the material cause only if it is an Arambhaka Karanam. Okay. Arambhakam means where two things come together to make a third new thing. So like how we say sugar, water plus the tea powder now is going to make your decoction for the tea. So this is tea. Just tea powder cannot be called as tea. Water cannot be called as tea. But when they come together, now you have the decoction, tea. Correct? Arambhaka Karanam. Then Parinami Karanam, where not two things come together, but the same object modifies to become something else. And that's why it gives up its earlier status and becomes the next. It cannot be the same object as before, like the milk becoming the curd. Okay? So Parinamitvena, by becoming a Parinami Arambhaka Karanam, or by becoming the Parinami Karanam, or by being the Vivartadhishthanam. Ahosvat Vivartadhisthanatvena. Now he says, now all these three possibilities which give an object the status of being the Upadanam is not possible with Brahman. You remember the Purva Paksha?
Yes.
All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Swamiji.
Very good. This is the Purva Paksha. All these three possibilities are not there. And why has he rejected those possibilities? So he has also a reason. He is not simply becoming adamant, obstinate, and no, nahi, humko nahi manna kind of a thing. Bachkani baat nahi hai, darshan shastra hai. So he has to have a justified reason. So why did he say the first one is not possible? Arambhaka Karanam is Brahman cannot be called as the Arambhaka Karanam because Advitiyatvena, because Brahman is Advitiya. Advitiya meaning
Non-dual.
non-dual. Because Brahman is non-dual. अरे भाई दूसरा कोई है नहीं तो किसके साथ मिल करके वो जगत का उपादान कारण बने? You understand? When Brahman is non-dual, where is the possibility of anything else being there with whom Brahman can associate and now become the Arambhaka Karanam? So that's not possible. Why? Advitiyatvena. Okay? So Arambhaka Karanam is rejected. Arambhakatvam is rejected. Nadvitiyaha, not even the second. You cannot say Brahman is Parinami Karanam. Why? Avikaryoyam uchyate. Because for Parinama to take place, there has to be some vikara, modification. Only then there will be a transformation. Modifies into and cuddles and becomes the curd, it cannot be called as the Parinami Karanam. You cannot say milk itself transforms. No, sir. Therefore, now Brahman is avikari, it does not modify. And why do you say that Brahman is unmodifying? Nityaha. Okay, because that what is subject to modification is not nitya. Correct? That what is subject to modification is not nitya. It is perishable. And Brahman is imperishable. The Shruti says, how is Paramatma? Imperishable. And therefore, Brahman cannot be called as Parinami Upadanam. So Arambhaka Upadanam is not there. Parinami Upadanatva is not there. Then the final thing is Vivartadhisthanatvena. So he says, how can it be even called as Vivartadhisthana? Does everybody understand the word Vivarta?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. For example, now just understand it through an example and then we will go to its definition a little later. Like the snake is the vivarta of the rope. Can you say that the snake would be seen even without the rope? Now this particular snake, okay, Rajju Sarpa, can you say that the snake can be experienced without the rope?
No, Swami.
No, not possible. Just as you cannot say the curd can be there without milk. Can there be curd without milk? No.
नहीं Swami.
नहीं हो सकता है. Can you say there can be tea, the decoction without the tea powder and water? No. So now we understand that Karanam is something which has to be present. Without the Karanam, the Karyam cannot exist. Without the cause, the effect cannot exist. And therefore, that which gives existence to the effect is Karanam, is the cause. Similarly, without the rope, the snake cannot be seen. which means now the rope also in some way has become the cause. Correct?
Yes, Swami.
The rope is also a cause, because without the rope, the snake is not seen. Without the tea powder and water, the decoction cannot be there. Without the without the milk, curd is not there. So over there, also it is karanam, whether it is arambhaka karanam or parinami karanam, irrelevant. But karanam has to be there. Avyavahita purvakshana presence of that karanam is required. Inevitable. It is inevitable. Now, similarly, over here, rope is also inevitable, and therefore, this rope also carries the status of being the karanam. Got it?
Yes, Swamiji.
Now the question comes as, can you call the rope as arambhaka karanam? That this rope in partnership with something has now produced the snake?
No.
Has the rope modified to become the snake?
No.
Then how do you say that this rope is the cause of the snake?
Because it is seen in the effect.
It is an error. Swamiji.
भ्रांत्या
भले
प्रतीत
भ्रांति हो, भले हो. But you are saying that even for this bhranti to be there, the rope is required. Without the rope, the snake would not be seen. Niradhishtan bhram nahi hota hai. Correct?
Yes, Swami ji.
जी स्वामी.
Niradhishtan bhram nahi hota hai. So now we have to admit that the rope is also a cause in some way. Is the karanam. How is it the karanam? By not being the arambhaka, by not being the parinami. And therefore, now this rope, without undergoing any change or without associating with anything, yet appears to be the snake.
Vivarta.
And this is called as the vivarta. So nothing has changed in the rope, and therefore it is viruddha vartanam. So it is the snake, this rope is the adhisthana for the appearance. So it is vivarta adhisthanatvena. Is present. This is how the rope becomes the vivarta adhisthana karanam. It is upadana karanam, but what is the nature of this upadana karanam? Vivartadhisthanatvena. Now, he says there are only these three possibilities for anything to be called as the material cause. Out of these three possibilities, how do you say is Brahman the cause? We have already rejected arambhaka karanam parinamitvam, and now vivartadhisthana is also, Brahman cannot be called as the vivartadhishthanam because the world is experienced as satyam, is. True or not?
Yes, Swami ji.
Yes, Swami.
जगत है, दृश्य है, is. This is how is the experience of the world. And therefore, न तृतीयः घटस्सन् पटस्सन् इति सत्यत्वेन अनुभूयमानस्य प्रपञ्चस्य ब्रह्मविवर्ततया मिथ्यात्वकल्पनायां मानाभावात्. And because the घटस्सन् पटस्सन् is, घट है, पट है, सत् सद्रूपेण अनुभूयते. Satyatven anubhuyamanasya prapanchasya. How is the prapancha experienced?
Real.
Satyatven is.
Satya.
If you are not going to experience the chair as real, how would you sit on it? Correct? You don't go and sit in a false chair. Now, Satyattvena anubhuyamanasya prapancha. Ghatassan patassan. is the घट है, पट है, कुर्सी है, इसीलिए तो कुर्सी में बैठ सकता हूं, घट में पानी भर सकता हूं, पट में पट पहन सकता हूं. तो सत्यत्वेन अनुभूयमानस्य प्रपंचस्य ब्रह्म विवर्ततया है, ब्रह्म का विवर्त है, ये कैसे कह सकते हो? एंड दैट्स व्हाई Brahman cannot be called as the upadanam. Got it? Because what is your definition of tatpada? Tatpadartha?
Jagat upadana.
Maya upahita.
Jagat upadanatve sati.
Jagat kartritvam.
Jagat kartritvam. And this definition then is further distilled as mayopahitam chaitanyam. Okay? So where did we begin? Kim tad brahma. So it was said Brahman is Jagat Karanam. ठीक है ना?
Yes, Swamiji.
Jagat Karanam. How is it? How is Brahman Jagat Karanam? Jagat Upadanatve sati Jagat Kartritvam. And then it is further distilled as Mayopahitam Chaitanyam, in 3 stages. Okay? This is how it has, our understanding has refined to understand the Tadvastu. Anand, you okay?
Yes, Swamiji.
Getting
Yes.
it?
Yes, yes.
Chakresh?
जी स्वामी जी.
और कौन है यहाँ पे? सब लोग ठीक ठीक मिल रहा है ना?
हाँ जी स्वामी जी.
हाँ जी स्वामी.
Very good. Now he said that upadanatva is itself not possible in Brahman. Then he raises the next objection. He says you cannot even say Brahman is Jagat. It is Jagat Kartritva. There is Jagat Kartritvam in Brahman. And forget even being the material cause, Brahman cannot be even said as to be Nimitta Karanam also. So now he defines what is Kartritvam. Does anybody remember the definition of Kartritvam?
Yes, Swamiji.
Upadana gochara.
Upadana gochara aparoksha jnanam krutimatvam. Chikisha krutimatvam.
Very good. Very good. No, who's there? थोड़ी परीक्षा कर लें क्या? स्वामी हमको सब समझ में आता है, प्रश्न मत पूछिए ना. कर्तृत्वम नाम उपादान गोचर परोक्ष ज्ञान चिकीर्षा कृतिमत्वम. कर्तृत्वम नाम, कर्तृत्वम means what? Upadana gochara. Now let us understand that this pot maker, we understand him as the nimitta karanam. Correct? Efficient cause of the pot. What all things are required in this person, the pot maker, so that you can give him, assign him the status of being the karta of the pot, the maker of the pot, the doer of the pot? क्या क्या होना चाहिए उसमें? What all
Knowledge
things?
of the material. He should have the
Ikshan.
knowledge of the material.
No. Ikshan, Kamna. Ikshan, Kamna, and isn't it that? Huh?
He must
the
have
third
thorough
one
knowledge
is
of the Upadana Karana, material cause.
and kritimatvam.
Pratimatva.
Action.
Action.
So he should have the direct knowledge of the material cause. Aparoksha jnanam. This is clay. He cannot say, well, there is clay on the river bank. Oh, this is the clay right in front on his wheel. This is it. Aparoksha jnanam should be there. Chikirsha should be there. Chikirsha means
Ichha, Kartrum
Ichha.
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 kartum ichha is chikirsha. The desire to do, to make, to create is chikirsha. And kritimatvam, actually then the actions. All these three will make the kartritvam. Tacha brahmano na sambhavati. This is not possible in Brahman, he says. Did we do this part or we have not done this part about the Purva Paksha rejecting the nimitta karanatvam? Anybody remembers?
Swamiji, we wanted to discuss that. Last time before your trip, we left at that point on.
Okay, sure. Tacha brahmano na sambhavati. That is not possible in Brahman. Why? Because jnana chikirsha kritinam nityatve sarvada jagadutpatti prasangan. Okay. Now, Brahman is nityam. So naturally, this kartrutvam, which is in Brahman, will also be nityam. Jnana chikirsha kritinam. So the jnanam, chikirsha, and kriti, all the three will also become nitya.
Yes, Swami.
And by that virtue, what will happen? Brahman will all the time just keep on creating and creating. Jagadutpatti. So what is the problem? We are saying, hey, that is not the only thing. Shruti also says, what is Brahman? The cause of
Pralaya karanam also.
laya also.
Laya.
Because it is upadanaka. Tatascha pralaya pratipadaka shastra virodha. If Brahman keeps on creating all the time, keeps on creating, then Brahman cannot be called as the very cause of its destruction too. Got it?
Ji, Swamiji.
Both the
Yes,
things
Swami.
simultaneously wouldn't be possible. Tatascha pralaya pratipadaka shastra virodha. Okay, then if somebody finds out a middle way and says, sometimes, Brahman becomes the creator and sometimes becomes the destroyer. Tesham anityatve karyataya brahmashrayatva yogat. So then if it is sometimes and sometimes this, sometimes that, then naturally this is not something which is embedded as the nature of Brahman. It is due to something else. Tesham anityatve karyataya. It will become the karyam only. And therefore, it cannot be said as to be the nature of Brahman. So, ataeva. Now, hence, therefore, Brahman cannot become the upadana karanam, nor can Brahman be called as the nimitta karanam. And therefore, that what you have said, that Brahman is abhinna nimittopadana karanam, this itself is not possible, is asambhava. And therefore, the meaning of the word tat, which means Brahman, which means Jagat Karanam, which means Abhinna Nimittopadana Karanam, is not possible. Got that whole thing? The Purva Paksha?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes,
Very good.
Swamiji.
Then somebody has, come in between this Madhyastha. And he says, so then, sir, if Brahman is not, this is not what is called as the Jagat Karanam Brahman, then what do you mean by Jagat Karanam? He says, we are going to say Prakriti. And so this is the claim of the Sankhyas. Sankhya Shastra. This is not the Sankhya Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. Okay? The Sankhya Darshanam is different from Sankhya Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. Sankhya Yoga of Bhagavad Gita is the Upanishad Darshanam, Vedanta Darshanam. So now, Katham tarhi jagadutpatti he shrudu sattva rajas tamo gunatmika pradhanan mahadadi kramena jagadutpadyate tasya parinamitvad jagat janmadi karanatvam sambhavati purushastu asangaha nirvikari. In the Sankhya philosophy, they are going to say that this Prakriti is Trigunatmika. Okay? How is Prakriti? Trigunatmika, consisting of these three gunas. These are the very basic constituents. Over there, guna just does not mean some attribute. It means the very, very constituents of Prakriti, which so Prakriti is like a composite of these three basic materials, and they cannot be separated, but they are there. So over here, Sattva, Raja, Tama gunas. And then because of this, it is possible that the Prakriti undergoes a modification. Now, because it is in parts, it is possible to modify. You understand? That which is partless cannot modify. That which is in parts only can modify. समझ में आता है ना? Okay, this is
Yes, Swamiji.
that which is in parts can modify. Your Brahman is partless, nishkalaha. Kevalo nirgunascha nishkalam nishkriyam shantam avikaryo yamuchyate. You remember na everything that he has given up. Our Prakriti is not nishkala. There are kalas because it has parts. Kala means over here parts. Okay? Manisha, समझ में आ रहा है ना?
सर बस स्वामी जी समझने की सारी कोशिश तो कर रही हूँ.
ठीक है. Mrs. Mathur?
स्वामी जी कोशिश कर रही हूँ समझने की.
अच्छा भाई, ठीक है.
थोड़ा.
ठीक है, okay. Now you have the kala means parts. What are the parts of Prakriti, of which Sattva, Raja, Tama? So now these parts can be modified, right? One can be kept on the top, the other can be brought at the bottom, the one in the middle can again go to the top or move to the bottom, so on and so forth. Modifications are possible because it is in parts. Therefore, there is some... Mrs. Mathur, आपको बंद करना पड़ेगा mic. So now this modification is possible, and therefore he says the Prakriti can undergo the modifications, and then there is a sequence through which the Prakriti becomes this world which is there. Ghatapatadi, this prapancha which is there, is seen, is experienced. Tasya parinamitvat. And because this Prakriti is parinami, capable of modifications, Prakriti can be called as Jagat Karanam. And what about this conscious being? The conscious being is asangaha, untouched, uninfluenced, unmodifying. So the Purusha, they admit, is unmodifying. But apart from Purusha, there is another principle which is called as Prakriti, and that undergoes modifications, and therefore the Sankhya Darshanam is called as the Dvaita Darshanam. Okay? Now that Dvaita, which is very, very famous of Madhvacharya, etc., the basic is the Sankhya Darshanam for them. Okay? Paramatma Jeev se alag hai, ye hai, wo hai, that is all different. But this is the basic Dvaita Darshanam. Which is it? Sankhya. Purushastu asangaha nirvikari. Evam ashankamaanaha sankhyaadi nirakartum tatpadartham vibhajate sachaiti. Now, in the commentary, the teacher says that the author has gone into explanation of Vachyartha and Lakshartha is because over here he seeks this as the space in which the Sankhya Darshanam can be refuted. Got it? So now what has created the space for the Sankhya Darshanam to raise its hood is because Brahman, since Brahman cannot be called as the Upadana Karanam, nor can Brahman be called as
Nimitta Karanam.
Nimitta Karanam. And therefore, this word which we are seeing, what is its cause? Definitely not Paramatma. Then what? It is Prakriti. Got it?
Yes, Swamiji.
Evam ashankamanaha sankhyadim nirakartum. Now, because there is this space in which Paramatma cannot be called as Jagat Karanam, Prakriti is the Jagat Karanam, so there is nothing like your Paramatma according to them. There is nothing like this Brahmavastu. There is nothing like your Paramatma, which is the Jagat Karanam. है ही नहीं. तुम हवा में बाण चलाते हो. ऐसे ही तीर चला रहे हो. समझ में आ रही है बात? And that's why the Sankhya says that what is Jagat Karanam? Prakriti is the Jagat Karanam. So now this is the space where it looks like there is some sort of a gap, and this gap gives rise to, if this gap is not filled in with appropriate logic and explanation, this gap will create this Dvaita Darshanam, space for this Dvaita Darshanam. Evam ashankamanaha sankhyadim nirakartum tat padartham vibhajate. And therefore, when the teacher is saying in the original text, such a dvividhaha, what is the reason for him to begin like this? What is the reason? Sankhyadim nirakartum. To nirakartum means to refute them. To refute Sankhyas, etc. Now he has to begin. And how does he begin? By saying such a dvividhaha. Dvaividhyamaha. Now this how the word tat shows you Brahman is in two ways. Vachyartha and Laksharthascha iti. That is how he goes. What is Vachyartha? What is Vachyartha?
मायोपहत चैतन्य.
गम्यमाना.
नहीं, वो तो तत्पदार्थ का वाच्यार्थ हो गया. But what is Vachyartha by itself?
शक्त्यागम्यमानो इत्यर्थः.
Immediate meaning of a word.
Shaktyagamyamano. Vachyartha. And what is Lakshartha?
लक्षणया गम्यमानो. लक्ष्य.
Lakshanaya Gamyamanam. We have not yet seen what is Lakshana. Okay, we will see that. There is no hurry. And you know what? The most amazing part of this is how our buddhi comprehends things, and at such a lightning speed. At such a lightning speed कि लक्षणा कैसे हो गई. I will give you some little ridiculous example, but it will help. Now, if I say that, my neighbor's son is a donkey, it is not a very nice thing to say. One should not say that. That my neighbor's son is a donkey. Now, what do you understand? What do you comprehend when this is said?
He's like a donkey.
Means what? Does he have long ears, or does he walk on 4 legs?
Buddhi.
He's a dumbo.
He's dumb.
Nirbuddhi.
Characteristically foolish.
All that you wanted to say is that this fellow is foolish. He is silly. But the word donkey, does it suggest anything like foolish? Donkey, the word donkey means a particular pashu, an animal. Okay? But it does not mean foolish. How did you go over a fool? How did you go over there to this meaning? And you see, when this was said, you had no doubt about it. And you quickly, how quickly you were able to understand this? Or when you say to somebody, hey, you're looking fresh and, shiny and bright like a sunflower. When you say you look like a sunflower, does that mean that abhi isse tel nikalo? Hey, you are a sunflower. Or when you tell a student in the class, hey, he is a star. Matlab kya? That he is a brilliant boy. जो बोलते हैं झट से पकड़ लेता है, understands quickly. Brilliant. That is what you mean to say. True? But when we use that language also, how easily and how quickly is our brain processing those words and reaching something which is not meant directly by the words, but we switch from the word to some other meaning. Not to the direct meaning conveyed by the word. And this is possible because there is a mechanism called as the lakshana. This is how our brain or our buddhi functions. Lakshanaya gamyamano laksharthaha. So now, in order to that, Sankhya has raised that question and we have to answer it. And he does not go into a great elaboration at this point, but it is done by very succinct over here. Etaduktam bhavati. Yadyapi shuddhasya parinamitve nopadanatvam tathapi mayopahitasya tat sambhavat. Now there is this typo over here, tat sambhavat, okay? Etaduktam. Yadyapi shuddhasya, though Brahman, in its purest form, it is not possible for Brahman to be called as parinami, because Brahman is aparinami. We have seen that. Avikari, nishkalaha. And that's why upadanatvam na sambhavati. Yet it becomes possible to say Brahman is upadanakaranam when conditioned by maya, mayopahitasya. So Brahman with the conditioning of maya can be called as the upadanakaranam. How does Brahman become the upadanakaranam? Tadapi vivartadhishthanatvena, by being the vivartadhisthana. But sir, have we not rejected the possibility of vivartadhishthanattva in Brahman also? He says, yes, though you have, but we have to answer your objection, right? So here, let us first understand what is vivarta. Atatvato anyatha bhavo vivartaha. ये याद रखना. What is the definition of vivarta? Atatvato anyatha bhavaha. Vivartaha. And to understand that, we go back to our snake and the rope. Can somebody explain this? Atatvato anyatha bhavo with the rope and the snake.
तत्व से
The
भिन्न
snake.
जो
Now I will
भाव
give you a
है,
clue. I will give you the clue.
Yes, Swamiji.
Snake is the vivarta. And vivarta of the rajju. Okay.
These
Now
two
instead
things
of using the word bhanti, we are going to use the word vivarta. Why are we using it? Because it is in reference to cause and effect. ठीक है?
Yes, Swamiji.
हाँ, चलो अब make an attempt in
So
explaining
when-
atatvata anyatha bhavo vivartaha.
When material cause does not transform, yet
Hmm.
the effect appears.
Very good. Very good.
विरुद्ध वर्तनम.
Yes, viruddha vartanam. That is एक लौकिक बोलचाल में बोल दिए.
जी.
लेकिन इन्हीं using this definition atatvata anyatha bhavaha is called as vivarta. So this is the definition of that rajju sarpa.
Yes,
Something is seen on what is not real. Something different is seen on what is not real.
नहीं अभी real not real पे मत जाना.
Swamiji, rope is appearing as snake, but rope is anyatha bhava is appearing as the snake, but actually the rope is not getting transferred, so it is atatvataha.
Very good. Now look at this. Now, if the rope is seen or experienced as rope, will it be called as anyatha bhava?
No,
Swami.
Or it will be called as
Yathartha
yatha bhava?
Yathartha bhava.
So it is yathartha. So it is yatha bhava, yathartha. Correct?
Yes, Swamiji.
But when this rope now is anyatha bhava, this is rope, but it's anyatha means something else in its place, snake, garland, or a stream of water, whatever it may be. Anyatha bhava, it is definitely not seen as rope, understood as rope. Anyatha bhava. So has this rope become the snake or the stream of water or the cane?
No.
No. So atatvataha. So without it becoming anything else, it becomes something else, then it is called as vivarta. Without becoming anything else, it appears. So that's why now, that becoming or its experience will have to be called as what do they call? Atatvataha anyatha bhavaha. That experience will be called as an appearance. You will have to use the word appearance over there. Atatvata anyatha bhavaha vivartaha. And that vivartasya adhishthanattvam is the rope. So that snake is the vivarta, and its adhishthanam, its
The basis is the
substratum is the rope. because without the rope, the snake can't be. So, adhishthanatvam mayopahitasya na virudhyate. Now, we are going to say, vivarta adhishthanatvam is possible with mayopahita chaitanyam. It is not going to harm in any way. But sir, the word which you are saying is the vivarta, and the adhishthanam of the vivarta is Brahman according to you. Correct? Just as the snake is the vivarta and its adhishthanam is the rope, so also the prapancha, ghata, patadi, sara prapancha. Now by ghata, pata, everything, you understand, right? Everything is meant. So ghata, patadi, samasta prapanchasya adhishthanam Brahma bhavati. So the world is an appearance and its substratum is Brahman. That is what you have to say. But we are saying the snake is an appearance. World cannot be assigned the status of an appearance because world is. This is what your experience about the world is. The Jagat is seen as real. Satyatvena anubhuyamanasya. How can that be said? And this answer is just in one line, which is very beautiful. Anubhavasya adhisthana satyatva vishayataya mithyatve badhaka bhavat. क्या है? अनुभवस्य अधिष्ठान सत्यत्व विषयतया मिथ्यात्वे बाधका bhavat. This is the answer, and it is apt. He doesn't even have to go into elaborate explanation about that. What is it? Let's see this when we meet tomorrow. Okay, this line, very, very important and very beautiful. We will see this when we meet tomorrow. ठीक है? After this, I will tell you something more about the event here in the ashram. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I did not record today's.